The dress watch here in my hand is called a MASON Ellum. It comes in at 949 bucks. It's assembled in USA and yet it's got a Swiss-made movement. Now, I like the fact that this type of watch is made. And I'm not a dress watch guy. I've said it before in many videos. But this watch seems to be a little bit more modern and also casual. Now there's two versions available, and when I saw this gold PVD plated version, I wanted to get it on the channel to show you guys because it reminds me of an era that's now far behind us. Because what's behind that box sapphire crystal is a linen dial. Well, it's not a real linen dial, but it looks really good, I can tell you what. And coming with a top grade Ellum Manual Wind movement, I think this is a pretty interesting watch. And I'm going to share some things about this piece. Let's check it out. Now, having a very casual experience with this watch on the wrist, and being a gold plated or gold PVD plated watch, personally I actually like the look of this watch. I like what I'm seeing here. It's simple, it seems to be executed beautifully. It's not inexpensive because coming in at $949 I found that that's a big ask, but I suppose if you're into a dress watch and you're into a nicely finished one, well maybe this might tick the boxes. And that monotone look of just gold everywhere does remind me of a long gone era. Now there are a couple of little room for improvements which I found on the watch throughout the week, and I want to share that with you guys. None of them have been a deal breaker, but I think a lot of thought has gone into this execution, and even my macro lenses have struggled to find some flaws. Now you saw the pop-up. This video is sponsored by MASON, so I will of course leave a link in the description if this watch interests you. Feel free to check it out. And firstly, looking at the specs of the watch, I measure a case diameter of 38 and a lug-to-lug of 44.4. That case height comes in at 9.5mm with a lug width of 20. Now that crown is dead on at 5mm, it's signed with their logo, it's a push-pull crown, and the watch offers 50 meters of water resistance. And the total weight on the supplied black leather strap I measure exactly at 55 grams. And 55 grams and a 38mm, which I think is more modern for a dress watch, wears pretty much like it should. That height has been really good. 9.5 is what I measured. And even the comfort on this black supplied leather strap has been very good. In fact, that leather strap has been extremely comfortable. Beautiful feel, beautiful suede feel behind here. Nice and malleable with no breaking period. The only sort of complaint for me has been that tank buckle, just generic looking. I think maybe they could have done something with its styling or shape. And looking closer at that linen dial, that's the hero. Now, it's not linen per se. It is a stamped dial, but it does look impressive, and its finishing and execution are really on a top level. And for me, it's all about the details, because you've got an applied logo, a nice frame date complication, which honestly, whether it's there or not, it wouldn't have fazed me. I think this watch would have looked even better without that complication, just to simplify because that detail in that dial is really nice. And drawing my attention to the center of this watch is that seconds hand. As you notice at the counterweight, it's got the colors red, white and blue, which is the colours of the Texas flag. Because I did mention this is assembled in the USA, but it does feature a Swiss movement. And turning the watch over, you can see that. You got the Sellita SW210 manual wind. It's a top grade version with blued screws, roughly plus or minus 5 seconds per day. And this one here, I've had it on the time grapher. It's been running at plus 2 seconds, 354 amplitude with 0.0 milliseconds beat error. So it's extremely accurate for a dress watch. Whether you need that or not is debatable. Now the crystal on this watch is a box sapphire crystal. It's got the subtlest hint of blue in the AR coating. You don't notice it in its usage. It has been good, but that monotone colour on this particular model, you might lose the legibility in certain lighting conditions, so bear that in mind. And speaking of colours, there's a green dial variant with a stainless steel case. And for me personally, I wanted to get the gold variant in because I thought it just reminds me of the 60s. Gold on gold, petite, thin, nicely done, but I will share something in my gripes sections regarding that. And lastly, the price. Well, I did mention the watch comes in at $949. Honestly, it's pretty good for the quality execution here, but as always, a few dollars less would always help our back pocket. And on that note, what are the gripes of this watch? Well, first and foremost, that crown is almost too small for a manual wind watch. And I say the word almost because the knurling is good enough to overcome that. Because winding this watch, it's just got enough real estate to allow you to wind it. Also with the crown design, I struggle to hack it from here. I find that I have to actually hack it from underneath. Maybe I just can't get my nail into the slight gap on the side. Second gripe for me, I'm not a fan of the feel of the PVD. And okay, let me clarify. I do like the feel of PVD on watches. I don't have a problem. I've had a few on the channel. I don't like the feel of this one. Not because it feels different, it feels the same. But my eyes are telling me this should feel like gold, and the watch doesn't. So in the sensors area, I think maybe the stainless steel green dial variant might be a more casual and a better option, even though I love the look of this gold one, if that makes sense. Now a close look at that dial, there are no seconds markers along that dial. And honestly, there doesn't really have to be on a dress watch. So on that note, do you really need a movement that's this accurate? Well, no, not really. But I like the fact that they've included it here because it just makes the wearing, winding and the quality feel so much better and easier to justify the price, in my opinion. Because you could have easily had a quartz movement here, you could have easily had a lower grade Miota something and dropped the price. But the fact that you've got a higher grade and as a dress watch, it's running this accurate, it's been a pleasure to actually get up in the morning and wind it and wear it throughout the day. So I'm just sharing that with you guys. And as I mentioned, that date, for me, it's neither here nor there. On a personal note, I think without that date, you got more than enough detail and texture in that dial to enjoy it as a dress watch. Clean and simple, elegant. But at 38mm, like I said, it's slightly bigger than your standard dress watch would be. And being all dial, it does also wear that little bit bigger. And my last gripe, of course, is the price. As I mentioned, a few dollars less would have been nice. But in the defense of the watch, it's been very good and very well executed without any discernible flaws, even under my macro lens. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. A very interesting release from Jack Mason. I quite like quite a few of the elements on this. And I think if you're looking for a dress watch that's actually built really well with a top grade movement, something to consider because the comfort on that strap and the wearability, the experience on the wrist with that slim profile has been really enjoyable. Thanks again for watching. Hit me up in the comments regarding what you think of this watch, its design, its layout. Enjoy the watch that's currently on your wrist, and we'll see you in the next video.